Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network. Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Everybody, welcome to another Sports podcast. I'm Joel Anderson.
I'm Jordan Pomaville.
And joining us, as always, is the sports outsider, Phil Ranta.
New Year's is coming.
You know what's not going to be joining us, as it always has, is Weird Sports. Welcome
no, Weird
to
Sports is done.
The
We
first
retired it last
ever
weekend.
non-Weird Sports podcast, aside from we had like one clip show in there, I think. But
Yeah. I've got post-Weird Sports traumatic disorder.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I've been trying to sleep the last week. And I've just been
PWSTD.
shuffling in bed going, no.
What have you been thinking about when you've been shuffling in bed?
Mostly wife carrying
Yeah, and that's
or bog snorkeling.
Bog snorkeling was that what I've been thinking of lately.
Cheese
Or,
rolling.
Kaiju big battle.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Knockers? The one where they hit the nuts against each other? The strings?
Poo sticks.
Poo
Poo
sticks.
sticks. I think I'm going to play that one when I go back home.
Yeah. Oh, man. So many weird sports. But let's stop dwelling on the past.
Yeah.
It's a new year almost.
Right, exactly.
Well,
We're casting out the old and going to the new.
Well, what will the new year bring us in terms of a weekly segment that might be a little unusual or odd?
We're going to premiere it later in the show.
You
Yeah.
won't tease it now?
No.
Oh.
We're premiering a new weekly segment that's
Keep
going to be
listening,
America's
folks.
new favorite segment. And if it's not, please let us know with hateful comments, as the internet is wont to do.
I really want you to
Phil will
tease
totally
it a little
change
bit,
it
Phil.
if you don't like it.
All right, I'm going to tease it. It's going to happen every week in the same time slot.
Thanks, Phil.
Yep.
Also on the show today, we have the Seattle Mariners GM to discuss the Robinson Cano signing. Is that correct?
Yeah, we absolutely do. A lot of criticism over the fact that he signed him to 10 years, despite the fact that he is 31.
And they backloaded the contract, so I guess we'll have to ask him, what makes him think Robinson Cano is worth $240 million over 10 years.
Yeah.
Mm.
Got
We
a
also-
hell of a name, too. It's Jack Zdradunik.
Is that one of those
That's
D's
real
and J's
professional
together,
of you,
or D's
Joel.
and Z's?
Real professional.
Here's how it's pronounced. Here's how it's spelled. The last name is spelled Zdurienck.
Oh, Zurich.
No.
We also have Tony Spoomanti on the show today.
Yeah, the replacement ref.
We've
who's
had him on a
still-
couple times.
Yeah, he's still trying to become a ref again.
See, I feel like he blew his shot.
Yeah, he did, but I think that he learned a little bit more about football. Maybe he's in it to win it this time.
All right, so I'll be interested to check in with him, see how he's doing, see if he's gotten out of the deli biz. I know he was there
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
All right, we got a verifiable true facts.
I love me
Holiday
some
Bowl
verifiable-
edition.
I
Love
don't
me
know
some
what any of
verifiable
those
true
mean.
Facts.
Holiday Bowl. We're going to be previewing the bowls that happen around New Year's Eve and New Year's Day.
Oh,
And
it's
doing
the
so
people
with a
smoking
number of facts that are true, and are true in a way that can be verified.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's why they're verifiable true facts.
That's right.
Now I get it.
Bingo, bango. All right, well, let's kick this sucker off.
Verifiable true facts.
Like trivia, but not fun. Brought to you by...
Ritz crackers. The box is red or something.
Really enthusiastic.
Yeah, I know the drop's there.
It's sort of a hostile drop from
Oh, I
Ritz.
remember one just said Ritz crackers probably salt
Yes.
or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was one of the earlier ones.
Really
I want to say,
unenthusiastic.
yeah, least effort and worst attitude awards for drops, definitely both going to Ritz.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's true. I agree.
So this is Verifiable True Facts Holiday Bowl Edition.
Ooh.
All right. In the final season of the BCS, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl is going out in style, with Big 12 champion Baylor facing off against American Athletic Conference champion University of Central Florida. Before the bowl game, they will be airing a half-hour special that attempts to explain just what the hell the American Athletic Conference is and why exactly they are still owed a BCS bid to a rightly confused America.
I'll watch that so I can learn more about sports.
Absolutely. It's a good idea.
Dude, you'll ruin the podcast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
bro.
I'm sorry. I won't.
Jesus.
I think him being informed is,
Yeah, it's been 101 episodes.
maybe it's time for you to learn a little
Maybe
bit.
I
Maybe it's
should.
time to, come in from the cold of the outside.
Yeah, maybe I'll be like a sports mid-sider.
Yeah.
That sounds like a position in soccer.
Yeah.
Iowa is playing LSU in the Outback Bowl on New Year's Day. The consensus, an analyst take on this game is, that's pretty fucking hilarious. All right. North Texas will take on UNLV in the Heart of Dallas Bowl. This is a virtual home game. North Texas figures to be playing the game with a lot of heart due to their kicker having cardiomegaly. It's an enlarged heart.
Cardio.
Yeah.
Really? Their kicker's dying?
No, I didn't say he's dying.
So how did they sign?
Love too much.
Yeah. How did they sign the Grinch? Post Whoville.
Oh, two
Yeah.
sizes. All right. The 2014 TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl will be between Nebraska and Georgia.
Sorry, did you say Tax Slayer?
TaxSlayer.com Bowl.
Is that started by the band Slayer?
Yes.
They did like, Rated Texas!
Yeah, it's the branded Slayer tax software.
Hey, if Kiss can have an arena football team, Slayer can have a tax fulfillment place.
Right?
Oh, Quicken Books is for squares! TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl will be between Nebraska and Georgia. The Gator Bowl has had a hard time selling tickets because it's a disappointing season for both teams.
Yep.
Fan bases are not excited for what's a rematch of last year's Outback Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, because it's in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And the T-Booted Jags people are going to be there.
Oh, man.
New Year's Eve features the Chick-fil-A Bowl between Duke and Texas A&M. Johnny Manziel has reportedly been hanging out with many Duke players the week before the game and comparing notes on just how to navigate being white and entitled in the 24-hour news cycle world.
It's got to be tough.
It's got to be tough, and those Duke players and Johnny Manziel, those guys really can hash some stuff out, hopefully.
Yeah.
This year's Rose Bowl game, which features Michigan State and Stanford, is adopting a new slogan this year. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were playing football. Playing off a similar sentiment, this year's Rose Parade theme, this is football, fuck you. A really aggressive
That's
Rose
for
Parade.
a parade?
Yeah.
There's going to be kids expecting
This is
candy.
football, fuck you.
Kids are there to get candy thrown at them.
And see the beautifully ornate floats made
Yeah.
entirely of flowers, fresh flowers.
Does it spell out "fuck you" in roses? Is that
Well, that's the last, yes.
okay? The last
Yeah.
one.
It's going to be 3 yards in a cloud of petunias.
The Discover Orange Bowl is not only a matchup between 12th-ranked Clemson and 7th-ranked Ohio State. It's also what a retarded Bed Bath & Beyond employee said to me yesterday as part of a sales pitch. Discover Orange Bowl. Discover Orange Bowl.
That was actual audio that you captured from us.
Yes. And the final, I was really proud of that one. It's terrible. Discover Orange Bowl.
No,
Discover Orange Bowl.
stop playing that drop, Jordan. Gonna wear out the tape.
The final BCS National Championship game features undefeated Florida State versus SEC champion, one-loss Auburn. After this game, 2013's national championship will be crowned. Sugar Bowl champion, the Alabama Crimson Tide. Verifiable true facts.
Like trivia, but not fun. Brought to you by
Ritz crackers, they're food.
Joining us now on the podcast is Jack. Jack, how do you pronounce your last name?
Zurinsik. It's okay. It's a tricky spelling.
Very confusing last name.
And you are the
Zurinsik.
Seattle Mariners GM.
Yep,
Did
absolutely.
you just skip Ellis Island? Is that how that name got by?
Yeah, well, we came a little bit later. Family comes from England, so a lot of weird names there.
That's what I thought. I heard that
Yeah.
last name and I thought British.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you made probably the biggest splash of the hot stove season.
Absolutely. We're really excited to be able to say that Robinson Cano is going to be a Seattle Mariner for the foreseeable future. Until
I don't know who that is.
Nailed it. Please, Phil, bring it back. Bring it back.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one. But Robinson Cano going to be in Mariner colors until 2024.
Now, he is one of the best players currently in baseball.
Absolute best player in the market in this offseason. Second
And-
base, important
and-
position.
A very important position. You get a great hitter at that position. However, the question that a lot of people are asking is a lot of criticism saying, it's a 10-year deal to a guy who's 31 years old.
Yup.
By the time his contract ends, he'll be 41.
Yup.
And you'll be paying him a lot of money for what may not be a lot of production in this post-steroid era.
Yeah. Well, listen, here's the thing. First, I got to let you know, I've heard the criticism. I understand where it's coming from. And what I want people to realize is that we are not signing Robinson Cano just to hit. Okay, he can do so much more. So even when the bat diminishes,
defense, maybe steal some
absolutely.
bases.
He's a very strong base runner. He plays excellent defense. Not to mention, he's a real leader in the clubhouse.
Okay.
And this is just the beginning of a laundry list of different reasons why we think Robinson Cano is going to be a solid Mariner even until he's 41.
But he's so old, 31. Oh, Grandpa.
No, hey.
Well, no, not yet, but in a few years.
Here's the thing. Did you guys know Robinson Cano? Here's something that you should Cano about Robinson.
That's still funny.
Is that he hates puns.
Yes. Keeps a very clean locker. Very clean locker. That he does.
I like that. It's nice. Not $24 million a year.
He's
nice.
also he's a very neat guy. He has a very nice appearance. He dresses himself very well. All of these are things that we're getting for our $24 million a season, even when he can't hit.
Yeah.
anymore.
So did Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman, and she was $100 a night.
I guess I just don't understand how that really plays into, like, you pay him money.
Yeah.
You are a ball club that will ultimately try to make money. How is his neat locker and neat appearance adding to your bottom line?
It's the complete package that we're getting here, okay? It's all a lot of these intangibles that are hard to quantify. He bakes. Did you know that?
I did not
His
know that he
pumpkin spice cookies are a dream.
You can get those
They
at
are
Starbucks
revolution.
for like $12 a cookie.
But
Why
not
do you need to
like
put
the
24?
ones that Robinson is making.
not in July.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. He makes them from scratch. It's real pumpkin in there, and he hand grinds his own nutmeg.
Okay, you could pay Wolfgang Puck to make you all the cookies you can eat for a year for probably $1 million.
Probably that's his quote.
Yeah.
Also,
That's
okay,
cool.
all right. You know what else, guys? He writes poetry.
Oh.
Robinson Cano writes poetry, specifically haikus, which he then recites and performs in a style that is completely his own and unique, but reminiscent of traditional kabuki-style theater in Japan.
That just sounds like a waste of time.
What?
That sounds like
he's
a
wasting
hobby.
everybody's time.
This is one of the things that we're getting for our $24 million a season. These factored into
That's
our
worth
decision in
negative
Seattle.
money, in my opinion.
Phil
no.
and I work for a living.
Yeah.
And
I
never
got a
once,
job.
And never once do our employers, factor into the fact that, like, oh, here's your check. We're glad to have you. We're glad for the work here. But really, what we're paying you for is you like doing fantasy football, Jordan.
It's the whole package.
You're
though.
saying it's hobbies.
But here's the thing: your fantasy football, and also I would point out a large Japanese American population in Japan. We've already tapped in really well with having Ichiro on the team for a long time. I think they're really going to take to Robinson
with the Kabuki Poetry Theater.
and hand rolls his own sushi. Okay.
Hand rolls his
Nobody
own
cares about this.
Okay. Here's another one. Here's another something that Robinson Cano can do other than hit: hand carved totem poles.
Where is he learning
Well,
this?
wait a minute. That is actually very specific to the Pacific Northwest and the
Absolutely.
indigenous peoples in that region.
And it's not just any totem pole. He hand carves totem poles in the style of the Tlingit people, who are the Native American population of the Pacific Northwest.
So what, is he going to sell these for $24 million a piece?
Oh, no.
Because that's the only way I see you making your money back.
You couldn't sell these. They're one-of-a-kind, beautiful pieces. And here's a lot of
if
people...
they're one of a kind and beautiful, you can sell them.
A lot of people just assume that good woodworking is all it takes for a good totem pole, but no.
Yes.
The totem pole
that
needs to tell a story, okay? And there's a lot of symbolism and depth to every totem pole that Robinson does, and it's all very much drawing on the traditions of the Tlingit people.
Okay,
That's
so
something we're getting from Robinson Cano, more like Renaissance Man Cano.
So when you talk about his baseball
Renaissance
playing,
man knows everything.
the art that he makes and keeping a clean and a nice appearance, that in my head adds up to $8 million a year.
maybe.
Oh, but see, we're all popping them up there. Okay, well, here's the real topper. All right, this is the thing that really tipped it and made us offer him the extra 3 years in the end of that deal that the Yankees weren't. He writes, shoots, and edits his own surreal, non-narrative black and white cinema, which he shoots in the style of Maya Deren on reversal 16mm film.
That sounds awful.
Never mind. He's worth $7 million.
Guys,
a year.
Yeah, I think that knocks him off the price,
These
man.
are stunning.
Does he
He's
force
not
you to
playing
watch
for the
him?
Portland Mariners.
Force. No, I love watching him. You should have seen the last piece that he made was utterly and completely brilliant. He really sort of it was a thrilling exploration of the camera as a filter. And, and he was drawing distinct parallels between the way that he filters
I'm bored
reality
hearing
through
about
lenses and film stocks.
How
and the
will
way
this
that we-
albatross of a contract affect the Mariners from a competitiveness standpoint, say, in 2020?
Do you own a piece of his intellectual property on these
You know,
movies?
I had not thought so much about how it would affect us competitively in baseball. I was more, if you had seen the movie that he made,
Gosh,
you know, it was called Yes.
You cannot be
Was the
serious
name of
right
his
now,
non-narrative
Jack.
film. Yes. Do you guys get where he went with that?
No, I see
It's an
exactly where we
important
went with
statement.
that.
That is a
about-
totally hacky thing to. You're one of those people who thinks that anything you
Please
don't understand is art.
Please don't call his work hacky. It was brilliant.
I would
okay?
never call his baseball work hacky.
All right. Well, listen. If you guys just want to fixate on how well he hits, and that's and whether or not he's going to earn $24 million that way, fine. But I'm going to have a lot of hand carved totem poles and just beautiful black and white film.
If he sells them to you, Or do you own-
He won't, but he will share them with me.
I really hope the totem poles, black and white films, and the kabuki theater-inspired poetry will bring a vibrant atmosphere to Safeco Field.
That's what we're hoping. And real leader in the clubhouse. Okay, joining us on the podcast again, the one, the only, Tony Spoomanti.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here, guys.
that is
Replacement ref.
Former
And
replacement
former
ref.
former
replacement ref.
and deli employee.
Current
Tony.
deli.
Yep, current deli employee, but you know what? I love the football even more than I love my meats.
That is debatable. How much?
No,
you love
I've
the
been
football.
learning. I've been studying.
Why
Okay.
have you trying to make a comeback as a referee?
I'm gonna make a comeback as a referee. It's not a trying. Look,
I
you know,
remain a little dubious, Tony. as
you
to
know
whether
what? For the
they can pull it
first,
off.
I'm ready to admit, first time I was out in that field, didn't quite know enough about football. I was an
Right.
expert, wasn't a super expert.
Okay, we know.
Now
this.
I've been reading the web forums, watching the games. I've been playing the fantasy footballs. My team got a bunch of points.
Well, that's great, Tony. So,
Yeah.
so can you maybe tell us a little bit about what you've learned? Can you demonstrate some of your new football
Yeah,
knowledge?
well, I mean,
Uh,
we should say it says on the one sheet here that you're here to do playoff predictions.
My playoff predictions.
But I mean, you do realize the playoffs don't start for like 2 weeks.
My Super Bowl predictions.
Super Bowl
I'm
is
here-
way off.
I-
Bowl
Super
is
Bowl
more
is
than
not
a
until-
month
I
away.
know I
February.
spoke incorrectly, though. That's why it was written in there, because it would have been, you'd have to be a real dum-dum to give playoff predictions now, right? Have to
Well-
be, you wouldn't know your stuff about football like me.
No.
The NFL's listening. I'm ready to come back. And
Yeah.
I'm going to prove it with all these predictions.
Okay, well, I mean, the fact
I'm
that you
smart with football now. You could bet money on
the
these.
fact that you were already confused as to when the playoffs started is, I mean, maybe sign number
I
one that you're
wasn't.
still
I
not
wasn't
ready.
confused.
We're not off on a good start,
Yeah,
but let's
all right.
let's hear some of your predictions. What are some?
All
of your,
right, my prediction number one for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's gonna be two teams playing. There are gonna be two teams to play against each other. There's not gonna be teams that have to like flip coins beforehand to see who's gonna play or arm wrestle. There isn't gonna be any of that. And then one of those teams is gonna leave the victor. It's not gonna go into further games.
That's-
Well, yeah.
yeah.
It's,
Yep.
Football's always one
Football
game,
is definitely gonna be one game in the Super Bowl.
never a series of games, and all
Not this
football
year.
matches
Not this year. It won't.
are played between two teams.
Right,
Yeah.
two teams, and only one's gonna win. It's not gonna be a tie, Jordan.
You're not wrong, but
I know
mean,
I'm not wrong. I believe I would bet 5 pounds of salam on this one.
All right.
I'm not
That's
going
what
to
I
take you up on
bet.
that bet. I think you're absolutely
All right.
correct.
There we go.
Super Bowl
Good.
will be played
That's
between
smart.
two
You
teams.
shouldn't bet against me. Don't take the action
Is
against
there
the expert.
another prediction maybe you could make for us that would maybe show a little bit more of your new football knowledge?
No, absolutely. There's downs in football, right?
Absolute-
There's down number
yeah.
1. There's down number 2. There's gonna be there's gonna be a bunch of down number 2s.
You're saying there's going to be a lot of second down.
There are. They're not like you'd think that if somebody got the ball and it's first down, all right, and then they say hope, and then they throw the ball back to the other person, and then they make their plays and try to get forward, right?
Right.
And if they get forward, they fall over because somebody hits them too hard. If they fall
You're
over,
tackled,
then they have
maybe.
to do a down number 2.
Right.
Right. So there's gonna be they're not gonna score every time. There's gonna be a bunch of down number 2s. Like they
Yeah.
might throw it 80 yards. They might get pushed over, fall out into the sidelines, and there might be some down number 2s.
I mean, that would be first down again. because
That
we
would be
got
down
picked
number
up-
2.
that
You
would
gotta
not
count.
actually-
Down number 1 is when they threw it. Down number 2 is this one. Keep up, Joel.
No,
I would
Tony,
bet 10
that's
pounds of mushroom salam on this one, huh?
mushroom salam.
Yep, mushroom salam. Apparently, you haven't had the kind of salam that we got it on.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
I worry that we're not getting specific enough with some of these
That's
predictions.
fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Can you give us something a little more?
I always start with my safe bets because I want everyone to know how to win some cured meats.
It's great advice, Tony.
Yeah.
It is.
So what's
it's notable that you probably shouldn't be talking about gambling on here, Tony.
if
Yeah,
you ever
well,
want to
not
get
for
back to
me.
being a
This
ref?
is for you. You bunch of kids playing your games.
Yeah, but I mean, you
Uh,
shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't take any interest in gambling because if you were a ref and you were gambling,
Then I'd win every time.
That's
Well, it's
be
a
the
horrible
victor every
thing to
time.
say if the NFL is listening.
But I wouldn't do it because I'm a ref. I'm dedicated to my job. I don't want to work in a deli forever. It's my goal.
sounds like you really like working in the deli.
I
though.
like working at the deli. That's good. I know a lot about delis.
It's honest work, but
Yeah, it's honest
So
work.
let's hear some. Let's hear
My
other
hands are covered in grease right now. That doesn't come off.
We did notice
That
yeah.
meat, your fingers glisten like a vampire in Twilight. All right, next prediction. Another
Tony
one.
Spoomanti.
Another prediction. There's going to be 2 sets of cheerleaders.
Wow.
All those individual cheerleaders are going to have a set of something, huh? Yeah.
It's not much of a prediction.
No.
I bet 5 pounds of Parmesan ravioli on that one.
That's
You
You're
can go
probably
straight to
right.
your Vegas bookie or some sort of back alley guy with a trench coat. You can put down some ravioli on it.
Probably. I mean, no one's going to disagree.
Imagine if you bet 5 pounds of ravioli, you might get 10 pounds back.
where are you gambling that you gamble in,
Who is your
in
bookie?
foods?
What,
Like-
you don't go deli gambling ever?
No.
Well, I bet you trade around money like you other illegal people, huh?
Yeah, a little
If you
bit.
do it, you know it's harder to trace pasta.
I don't doubt that, Tony.
There's a such thing as money laundering, no such thing as pasta laundering. You can just eat the evidence.
if you could,
Have yourself a banquet, have yourself a party, make up a pot of gravy, put it on top of your pasta. You're good.
you
You can
put
even make some
gravy on
anti-pasta.
pasta?
That's what Italians call red sauce. Keep up, Joel.
Oh.
All right. More predictions.
Yes,
I'm not
please.
here to talk about pasta. You can read that online. This the Super Bowl predictions. That's only something that can come from experience.
Yeah.
right.
Yep. All right. One of my predictions. I'm guessing the coin flip is gonna be tails.
Well, this is unlike your previous predictions.
Extremely specific. It's one that may actually. wind
I've
up being
studied
wrong.
charts on this one. I am 96% sure it's gonna be
You
tails.
could not possibly be.
Yep.
I mean,
The other 4%
96%.
is that the coin's gonna land perfectly on its side.
Those are the two.
Yeah, I know for sure it's not gonna be heads.
Why not?
I've done the research.
Okay. What would you say for a bet that you're this confident in? What would you bet?
I would bet 4 bottles of wine. You know, sometimes people like to drink wine.
All right.
I know
yeah.
this ain't the prohibition, but it's still good to drink with some pasta.
Is there a more maybe a more long shot? But you say you're very confident in tails. Is there
Oh,
another
along with that wine, I'd also bet an entire loaf of mortadella. Huh?
yeah. That does sound good. Look, Tony, how about this? How
It's
about
a lean pork fat. It's a lean, fatty piece of pork.
it comes in a loaf?
Yeah, it's a big loaf. It's kind of like a prosciutto gatto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about this? How about you tell me who is going to win the Super Bowl?
Who's gonna win the Super Bowl?
What team is going to win the Super Bowl, Tony?
Well, I know this. It's gonna be Montreal.
It's not.
does not
Yep.
have an American football
Yeah.
team.
Mex- have a Canadian football
It's
team.
gonna be
Mexico?
what? No, I didn't-
you
I
started to
wasn't
say
saying-
Mexico.
No, I wasn't. I was gonna say Mexico because they don't have a team.
No, they do not.
Nope, it's gonna be Tallahassee, Florida, the capital of Florida.
Tallahassee, Florida does not have a
You're
professional
right. They don't have a
franchise.
team. That's why West Virginia is gonna win it. West Virginia State, West Virginia Tech.
Also, not Tech. West Virginia Tech.
Yep.
It's not college, Tony. It's
No, I know
professional
it's the
football.
Super Bowl, which is only for professional teams, much like the.
What would you bet that the Super
St.
Bowls
Paul-
play with
the-
professional teams?
The St. Paul's.
There is a team
No,
in
St.
Minneapolis.
Pauli
You're
girls.
so close.
What? Yeah, it's Twin City.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Vikings have been statistically eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'm putting all my money behind the Hoboken Surpresas.
And when you say money, you mean
I mean Surpresa. It's a kind of Italian salam. No, you know what? I thought you meant what teams. I thought you were talking about what teams should have. What towns should have a team.
Hoboken, where you're
Yeah,
from.
I was
You're
having
from
a little
there.
bit of fun. Of course, I know. I've been studying reels. I've been watching games. I've been turning on that one channel that shows all those sports, and I've been watching those sports that you show on that one channel. Of course, the channel being Let's Move On. But I think the people with the little birds on their hats are gonna win. The birdie hats.
Cardinals? The
Cardinals?
Arizona
Think the
Cardinals?
Cardinals are going to win?
We'll go with that one.
Birdie hat. Maybe the Ravens, actually. I think.
Yep.
It could be the Ravens.
Oh, it could be one of those. I'd put my money behind both just to be safe.
And by money, you mean?
Maybe you put it on some Varsity Italian salam, huh?
A lot of salami in there. Well, thanks
Salam
again.
is the national meat of Italy. Did you know that?
Yeah. Thanks again, Tony, for coming by. I learned a lot about Italian meats. I learned nothing about football.
Hey, make sure, though, to bet safely out there. Don't go in too deep with your bookie. And make sure that you don't do any pasta laundering. You'll ruin your washing machine. For you, the listeners of Sports Podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. I personally recommend a wonderful book called The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Joel saw the movie. He said that it was okay. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network. Again, that's audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network for your free audiobook. And now it's time for the first ever Weird Sportsman! Weird Sportsman.
So I think we owe the public an explanation as to the segment.
I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
It's a weird sportsman.
You just tacked man onto the end of
This
the old
seems
segment?
really
No,
thrown together,
No,
Phil.
Weird
Yeah.
Sports
This
is
seems
retired.
really right.
I said
told
Weird
us-
Sports
You
is
told us
retired.
you've been planning something for a long time.
I have. I've been doing the research.
And it
You
was
barely
adding the
changed the
suffix
intro.
men.
That's I mean, it's not a common suffix. It
No.
totally changes the bit.
What's the segment
We're
about?
going to be detailing people with strange backgrounds who are in sports.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. You guys seem bummed.
Well,
I really dropped the ball.
It
These
really
sports-
seems
expecting
like
more.
when you said Weird Sports is dead.
You
I
get-
did not think the new segment replacing Weird Sports would start with Weird Sports
Men.
Yeah, I just didn't think the first two syllables would be exactly the same.
A lot of the nostalgia and emotional energy I put into last week when we
Yeah.
were retiring the segment now feels like
Doesn't it feel good to be back? It's
feels
like
like
it was
disingenuous.
disingenuous and misplaced because it's mostly the same segment.
this week's Weird Sportsman, Jim Thorpe.
Jim
yeah.
Thorpe, All-American.
Yes.
Well,
Gold
let's-
medal winner.
Let's see if he's really All-American, huh? James Francis, or Jim Thorpe, who is also known as Wathohuck, which is translated as Bright Path, was born May 28th, 1888. He's an American athlete born of both Native American and European ancestry.
Oh, that's
So he's
interesting.
not
Right.
All-American. He's half American.
No. He's All-American. He
No.
was born in America.
Yeah.
But European ancestry, come on. If he was all Native American, sure, he's All-American.
I didn't say Native American.
I guess if he was all Native American, we wouldn't be
American.
calling him Jim.
That's probably true. We'd be calling him Wathohuck,
All right.
which means bright path.
because
name.
all of the sidewalks where he grew up were well illuminated. Had a lot of street lamps.
Considered one of the most versatile athletes of modern sports, he won Olympic gold medals in 1912 for pentathlon and decathlon, played American football, both collegiate and professional, and also played professional baseball and basketball.
Whoa!
Yeah, this dude is interesting.
He is the most professional athlete.
Yeah, he's what I would call a weird sportsman.
He's like, hey, Bo Jackson, you're a little bitch.
Oh, I don't think he would say that because
I
he'd
don't think he
he'd probably be like, the raven flies overhead and tells me that something
That
else
was a
happens.
little racist.
His
Phil.
name is Jim. Let's
His
go
name
back
is
to
Wathohuck,
Also,
meaning
I think
bright
he's
path.
dead, so he probably wouldn't say anything.
Joel, that was
was that
insensitive.
racist
Yeah,
for me
not-
to say?
yeah,
That was
was-
insensitive.
Is it racist for me to say that he couldn't speak after he's dead?
It was more like ageist.
He lost his Olympic titles after it was found he was paid for playing 2 seasons of semi-professional baseball before competing in the Olympics, thus violating the amateurism rules that were in place.
But did
Stupid
he ever
fucking
get him back or no? Was he just stripped of them?
In 1983, 30 years after his death, the International Olympic Committee restored his Olympic medal.
Oh, geez, guys, thanks.
Yeah, 30
Yeah.
years after his death. Oh, what is his ghost going to be like? Oh, thanks. I'm
I
gonna
hope
melt
whatever
these for gold."
ancestor accepted or like widow accepted that award was just like, this is the definition of too little, too late. Fuck you.
Right, and then they were wearing the traditional Native American headdress and a single tear went down the cheek.
No.
Like the littering commercial? Come on! That was a good pull.
What else is weird about this sportsman?
Thorpe
Phil?
grew up in the Sac and Fox Nation of Oklahoma. He grew up on a reservation.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Are not a lot of athletes that grow up in that and on a reservation.
Yeah,
So-
most of them are off the reservation.
Reservations
if you know what I mean.
often a tough upbringing. Did he, when speaking about growing up in a reservation, did he have any qualms?
What, I don't know what you're getting at, but I have a feeling it has to do with a pun.
No, I didn't do the pun. I said qualms, and the joke was that he just keep going.
He played as part of several All-American Indian teams throughout his career and barnstormed as a professional basketball player with a team composed entirely of American Indians.
That's interesting.
He was a hero of his people.
Basically,
Americans any good at baskbasketball?
they were the first Harlem
Sure,
Globetrotters,
they're
basically.
just like you and me.
No, I mean we're white. We're terrible at basketball.
Oh, good point. I don't
The
know.
Oklahoma running dribble.
From 1920 to 1921, Thorpe was nominally the first president of the American Professional Football Association.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was also a politician, which would become the National Football League in 1922. So he was kind of like the first president of what became the NFL.
Very interesting.
Yeah, he's the man.
So the whole concussion thing, kind of in his court.
That's true. I kind of blame him.
Yeah.
Yep, Chief hits with head. Right? He played professional sports until the age of 41. The end of his sports career coinciding with the start of the Great Depression. That's sad.
Oh, that's what a year
yeah, exactly.
for him.
Thorpe leaves, and then the whole
Don't worry, I can retire. I have all my money in stocks.
Wait, what happened? Oh, back to the reservation. Thorpe struggled to earn a living after that, working several odd jobs. Can you imagine like LeBron James being like, "Oh, the recession happened. Better go work at Walmart."
No, I cannot imagine it because I don't think he knows any skilled trades.
Right. But that's the equivalent of what Thorpe did.
Wow.
Yeah, Thorpe suffered from alcoholism, so he was an All-American athlete, and lived his last years in failing health and poverty.
Yep.
He's one of the most accomplished athletes of all time, ended his life drinking himself to death poor. I bet you feel really bad,
Is
don't
this
you?
so much a weird sportsman as it is a sad sportsman?
You know what? I've been doing a lot of research for this segment, and a lot of them are going to be sad sportsmen. A lot of them. We're in for 100 episodes of sadness.
That sounds awful.
100 episodes of sadness happening.
All right.
In a poll conducted to sports fans from ABC Sports, Thorpe was voted the greatest athlete of the 20th century, above Muhammad Ali, Babe Ruth, Jesse Owens, Wayne Gretzky, Jack Nicklaus, and Michael Jordan.
Mikhail Jordan.
Mikhail Jordan.
Michael Jordan. He's the Russian Michael Jordan. So there we go. That was our first episode of Weird Sportsman. What do you guys think?
That was all right.
I think.
Again, I think
Yep, you guys are really excited about this segment.
Real. I mean, no, the excitement. The segment is fine. It was just a real cop out.
Yeah, really good segment. America, you decide. And that brings an end to the first ever Weird Sportsman! Woo! Project Money is Great
Citizens of Podcast Town, this brings to the close another sports podcast. Before we go on this 101st episode, Phil would like to give you our contact information.
Happy New Year! You can email us at sportspodcast@gmail.com. That's sportspodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at sports3podcast. That's at sports3 podcast. You can find us on Facebook by searching sports podcast. Your little top bar thingy. You can find us on Stitcher Radio. Download the Stitcher app today at stitcher.com and search sports podcast. You can find us on YouTube by going to youtube.com/comedypodnet. That's youtube.com/comedypodnet. While you're there, please subscribe, comment, let us know the love. You can find us on iTunes by searching sports3 space podcast. That's sports3 all one word space podcast. Or you can find all of our back episodes at comedypodcastnetwork.com.
What's that? Sorry, what was?
No, it was just a few. He rattled that off.
I've been doing it for 100 episodes. Joel.
Yeah.
And one.
Absolutely. Lights off.
You have received this transmission from the Comedy Podcast Network. For more shows, visit comedypodcastnetwork.com.